the vice chairman of this committee, and the gentleman from Utah, Mr. Owens.
Thank you so much, Chairman Wormwood. And first of all, for organizing this very timely hearing. There's no more important topic for us. This is one that's dear to my heart, by the way. If we're to grow our American middle class, we need to unleash the unlimited potential of the independent contractor. And by the way, for those who don't understand, this middle class is what defines our remarkable American culture. It's a culture that's founded on the freedom of dreaming big and taking risks with the knowledge that in America we can embrace the concept of second chances if we fail. I look forward to working with my colleagues on this committee to address never again allowing the DC bureaucrats to have the power to stand in the way of that promise. For the sake of transparency, after retirement from the NFL, I worked for over 25 years in the corporate sales. Every year during that time, I worked also for myself part-time as an independent contractor. I understand firsthand the passion of an entrepreneur to want to craft and control their own future and not leave it up to the whim of someone else. Ms. Maeda, in your written statement, you stated that franchising has proven to be one of the most successful drivers for entrepreneurship across the United States throughout our history. Can you discuss how franchising in the hotel industry has created opportunities for entrepreneurship, and how has it allowed Americans to become small business owners to live out their American dream?
Absolutely, and thank you for the question. I mean, the franchise model in our industry is the epitome of the American dream. Of the 64,000 hotel properties around the country, half of those are franchise properties. That is the very epitome of entrepreneurship and allowing people to own a property. And once they own one, we've seen many of my members own many, several or hundreds, and it has allowed them to be real job creators in this country. Small businesses and the franchise model in the hotel industry is really the economic engine of this country, and we want to do everything we can to help preserve that.
Thank you. How would these opportunities be harmed by the Biden National Labor Relations Board joint employer rule, which is an attack on these independent contractor status?
That's exactly right. The concern was very high in our industry about the joint employer rule under the Biden administration, adding more uncertainty and burdensome regulations to an already stressed small business owner exacerbates the challenges that they have day to day. And at the same time, if you think about the last year alone, operating costs have risen twice as fast as revenue. And so more uncertainty creates even greater stress for many owners who are questioning whether they can stay in business, and that's the last thing we want to see.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Melito, as many as 1/3 of American workers now earn at least part of their living through opportunities as independent contractors, such as freelancing and app-based work. This is happening despite the Biden administration's issuing of a 2024 rule that will strip away from entrepreneurs their status as independent contractors. Now that we're entering the America First, innovative, entrepreneur first era, how can we ensure the federal government protects and supports independent workers?
Thank you for that question, Representative Owens, and thank you also for your support of the Main Street Tax Certainty Act. So the Biden administration's rule on the independent contractor was very biased, as you pointed out, to finding individuals classified employees. It was, the administration seemed to want everybody to be receiving a W-2. But as you've pointed out, small businesses often business owners start out as an independent contractor. They may have just one client, and that's how they get going. And then they build their reputation, and they take on other clients there. Under the Biden rule, it would have been very difficult for an individual, say an IT person, who wants to go out and starts off with just one client, because the weight under the Biden rule would have been, you are really an employee of that, even though the individual may have been marketing and trying to get other clients there too. So it really would have threatened the flexibility of individuals to start out and start their own business there. And it also would have, of course, created a lot of liability for businesses that contracted with independent contractors there too, and discouraged that. So it was bad on both fronts.
Thanks a lot. I think one of the responsibilities as an educational workforce is that we need to teach the power of the entrepreneurship, that this capitalism system we have is why we have the greatest country in the history of mankind, and that in every industry there's right sizing. We call it RIF. I've gone through that several times in the private market, so I think it's important that federal employees understand when we're too big, we need to make adjustments so that we get the best product possible. And there's a remarkable private sector out there waiting for people to come and work for them, big time. So thank you so much. Appreciate what you guys are doing, and I yield back.
I thank the gentleman. I recognize the gentleman from California, Mr. Desaulniers.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Dr. Sherrill, thank you so much for being here. I have two questions and a follow-up if we have time. You already alluded to the illegal actions by the current administration